you're wearing headphones now, you're the protagonist, you're trying to stay awake, and you're fighting so much. It's so aggressive. So what does this music have to do with the pill? The rhythm, it's in 11. And that's the thing, hypnosis. It's supposed to make you sleep. The reason this guitar riff is in the verse is to put you to sleep. Hello world, I'm Joshua and I am a fan of prog rock, and I recently just really got into Porcupine Tree. Porcupine Tree have demonstrated amazing technique and skill, as well as amazing songwriting from a progressive perspective, while still having all the motion that a pop song would have, you know? Prog rock is able to have these complex moods, if you will, and they have sort of this narrative, and that's what makes progressive rock interesting to me. And that's why I love long songs, like 12-minute songs like Arriving Somewhere But Not Here. First of all, yeah, it's a long-term commitment to something, which is a song, and also an emotion. Secondly, because that emotion is complex and it changes throughout the song. Don't even get me started on Anesthetize, because that's exactly what I want to talk about right now. It's probably my favorite song from Porcupine Tree. It is 17 minutes long, which is... I'm ashamed to say that that's the main reason I wanted to listen to it. Because I expected this long-term commitment and these complex emotion, and I got a story. I got a story out of it. I listened to the whole album, Fear of a Blank Planet, and I looked at the lyrics, and it's this beautiful story. What makes it amazing is the emotion behind the story. It's a simple story. Anesthetize, if you hear it, you'll probably realize that it's basically 3 songs. Not Here, Pills in Me, and Surfer. I want to talk about the bit in the middle, Pills in Me. Pills in Me has the power to tell this story and this emotion through music. We get that really cool polymetric stuff with the guitars panned right and left. And that's the last section of Not Here. And after that, Pills in Me. How do these 3 notes explain an event? This story, what's the story about? So we know from the context that the protagonist is taking prescription drugs, which have a negative effect on them. The whole album is basically lamenting the state that the protagonist is in. So what does this music have to do with the pills? I like to think that Pills in Me is the section of the song where the protagonist fights against the slumber. Even though Not Here and Pills in Me have a very smooth transition, there's a definite change of vibe. Pills in Me is so much more aggressive. Why does that happen? Well, first of all, the tone of everything plays a part, and the orchestration. We don't get mellotron, we get a focus of guitar and bass that play octaves, and I think the guitar plays power chords. The fact that they play octaves makes for a very huge tone, a very impressive tone, where each single note that gets played, since it's backed both by the distorted guitar and the distorted bass, has such weight to it. And here, right, we're only getting 3 notes. On my acoustic guitar, it just sounds like 3 pathetic notes. But with the whole orchestration, it's huge. It's huge. It's 3 notes going down, but you feel like you're sinking into something. Especially if you have earphones on, you get this immersive experience because the tone is so full, even though you're playing just 1 note at a time. And of course, the fact that the guitar plays a power chord just makes this fuller, because there's an extra note. Even though it's not a very complex harmony, it's a very simple chord, but it just adds to the weight, it adds to the volume. So that's tone. But let's talk about another aspect of this musical idea, the rhythm. It's in 11. And that's weird. 11 is a prime number. That makes it even weirder, because there's no periodicity inside 11. So let's count the beats on it, right? And let's see on what beat we go back to the first note, right? 1, 2, 3. So that's just after 3. 1, 2, 3. 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and it's on the E of 3. And it's so weird because it feels like the bar started over. The rhythm is so unusual. It takes you off guard when it goes back to the first note, right? It feels like it's early, isn't it? It takes you like that. I feel like that's what it's trying to do, and I feel like that's what any human who listens to the song is bound to feel, since we're all synchronized into this 4/4 style of music. I've told you about the tone, I've told you about the rhythm, and now I want to add my own interpretation to it. For example, the rhythm, right? I said that any human would find it unusual, and I believe that, but I don't believe that everyone has the same interpretation that I'm about to have. Because I'm about to say, the fact that the notes go down, there's a chromatic descent, chromatic means 1/2 step at a time, symbolizes to me how the pills are shutting down, slowing down the protagonist's body. How he's slowly brought into a low state. But then remember, it goes back up. It's not a full descent. After just 3 notes out of the 12 that the musical system provides us, just 3 notes go down, and then we go back up to the first one. And not only that, but we go back up to the first one on a weird, unexpected beat. And what is that? What is that, in my view? It's the protagonist fighting the pills. I feel like there's this incredible imagery in my head, so vivid, of the protagonist just shutting his eyes from the pills and then opening them again to fight them. Like, it's kind of this fight against sleep. And it's so powerful. I mean, we've heard about it in the lyrics. We've heard about it in other songs. And now, here's the feeling of it. You're wearing headphones now. You're the protagonist. You're trying to stay awake. And you're fighting so much. It's so aggressive. And that's my 2 cents about that specific section of Pills and Me. And why I think Anesthetize is such a masterpiece. Because it has so many beautiful, clever musical ideas. The next part I'd like to talk about is the one that comes right after, and it's the melody. The melody and the verse have this amazing quality of creepiness. Well, how does Steven Wilson do that? Well, he sings. He sings in the harmonic minor mode. You probably know this if you watch the rest of my videos. The prominent aspect about the harmonic minor is the major 7th, whereas any minor mode would have a flat 7th. The harmonic minor has a major 7th. There's 2 vibes that contrast each other, major and minor, and they create this ambiguity that eventually unsettles us. That is my favorite bit about the verse. My favorite bit about the verse is this sick groove. Why is that? Because it's so repetitive, and I like repetitiveness in songs. In certain cases it gives me this sense of impulsivity. In Queens of the Stone Age there's a lot of riffs that get repeated. And that gives me this energy, and every time it gets repeated I'm like, yes, I love this and I want to hear it again and again. I guess the repetition of something aggressive, it aggravates its harsh vibe. But here, different. Repetition is used for something else. And it's this sort of hypnotic groove. And that's the thing, hypnosis. It's supposed to make you sleep right after you try to fight it. It's settling in. You gotta sleep. This monotony could arguably be the monotony of the life of the protagonist, who's always bored, always like a zombie. Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that argument, but I like to think that the reason this bass line and this guitar riff is in the verse is to put you to sleep. Because the verse is long. It must get repeated like 16 times, and that verse plays twice. That monotony obviously is broken by the chorus, which, thank God, because then those 17 minutes would be really hard to listen to. I love listening to Anesthetize, and I also love to listen to Sleep Together. Sleep Together has this melody. It has this theme, this hypnotic theme. It's trying to put you to sleep. Do you get me? This verse in Anesthetize is establishing a theme. The theme of, in my opinion, is the theme of the pills. It could be whatever you want. The theme of apathy, the theme of torpor. I don't care. But it's eventually the thing that kills the protagonist. It's essentially the tool the protagonist uses to free himself from life. And it's so powerful that we get this connection. I think this is the first time I've found a leitmotif in like an actual album of songs. I get it, it's a concept album, but this is... I love this. In the bass line in Sleep Together, we get our bass riff like that. Which compared to the verse from Pills in Me is... And yeah, this is how to use music for narrative. You establish themes and you use them. The protagonist used the pills to kill himself, so the pill theme comes back. And just the fact that the pill theme is so hypnotic and repetitive and eerie. Man, Steven Wilson is a big brain boy. Man, I hope I got you into Porcupine Tree, and I hope that if you were into Porcupine Tree, I hope I made you realize this connection, because it's so satisfying to know this stuff, at least for me. And I get lots of people who tell me that they don't realize this stuff, and I want people to know. I want people to know because it's so good. It is such a nerdy adrenaline rush associated to these weird little discoveries. I'm probably gonna talk about Porcupine Tree more because I love them so much. I've been obsessed since summer. They're not gonna get out of my head anytime soon. Anyway, I'll see you around, and if you're interested, surf my channel and pick something you like. See ya.